4 was the hardest week I got since the beginning. I started the week with a leg day as the usual, but I just felt a drop in energy this time, even if I ate my carbs before. I'm not in an aggressive calorie deficit, I'm just losing not even half a kilo a week. I started with glute bridges. I usually do hip thrust because hip thrust make you work in a deeper range of motion, and I really like full range of motion. But that Smith machine was too high and I didn't have enough equipment to make it hip thrust. Then the kickbacks, which was a mess because normally gyms have 2 handles for support, and this is much more convenient than this one because this one has like one for both hands. So I tried leaning forward more to get more balance, but honestly I struggled so much with that exercise, especially since I want to lift heavy. The thing about cable kickbacks is you really need to try every variation possible for you, using a plate, leaning forward a bit more or a bit less. You really need to find the combination that works for you. One thing I never shared before, I really like avoiding my phone during workouts. So I want to do many things in between sets like walking, stretching, dynamic stretches. You really don't need a separate session to work on range of motion of your joints. You can literally work on them in between sets. Now, of course, I put my phone sometimes to record some workouts, but other than that, I honestly don't use it. For glute workouts, you don't need more than 4 or max 5 exercises to get the best results. I'm also coaching my sister. She is using my app for her workouts, so everything is completely tailored to her needs, goals, and lifestyle. She can even swap exercises whenever she wants. And I really packed the app with tons of effective exercises and alternatives. You even have home workouts, and I really made sure to choose the best home workouts because I know not a lot of them are really effective. And I'm also coaching her for her stretches. I see a lot of people doing stretching without intention. It's really too bad because it could help you do so many things at the gym. Okay, I think after watching 4 episodes, you're gonna notice that I pretty much eat the same things. I don't really take risks when I'm cutting. I'm not here to show you fancy wow meals, I'm just showing you what works, and especially what works for me. So because I don't track calories, I don't want to put myself in a situation where I lose control. So sticking to the same types of meals is really helping me control my calorie deficit. But don't worry if you're considering joining my app because there are going to be so many recipes. There are hundreds and hundreds of recipes, and I also take into account your dietary restrictions, of course. So my point is you can eat however you like. I just want to show you that repeating meals isn't a bad thing at all. I do it all the time when I'm cutting. When I'm bulking, sure, like I allow myself way more recipes here and there. But right now, especially since I don't have much time, I really try to keep it simple, and it's working so well. Also, another tip for you, don't sacrifice protein for calories. Sometimes you might be tempted to think, oh, I'll just eat fewer calories even if it means cutting protein. You'll regret it later when you notice that you've lost a bit of muscle. This is when most people give up, and it's exactly the moment when you start getting real results. It's when the calorie deficit starts to take a long time, you know? Like you stay consistent, and first thing in the morning, you notice results, you know? So the thing is, when you start noticing results, it's also when it starts to get harder, of course. I started having sugar cravings. I never had this before. When I was bulking, I was always caring about food, you know, like complex carbs, high protein meals. I didn't really care about sugar cravings. I had my Ninja Creamy. It doesn't work anymore, by the way. I had my Ninja Creamy. I was doing anything I wanted, but I didn't really crave sugar, you know. But now, because I'm in a calorie deficit, I always crave sugar. So it's just because it's getting harder, you know. It's getting harder also because of energy levels, basically. I never get hungry, honestly. Like you know, there are so many low-calorie foods that getting hungry is just basically your choice, honestly, because you can eat tons of blueberries, broccoli, whatever, like filling stuff, low-calorie stuff that are filling. It's called snacks, you know, low-calorie snacks, because, you know, that's how you should be thinking. You should not be always thinking, oh, I want to eat whatever I want, and at the same time I want to lose weight. You just have to make some sacrifices, and honestly, blueberries are so tasty. I always eat blueberries as a snack, and I eat it with like high protein yogurt, and this is like my usual snack. This is my usual snack that I eat, and that keeps me full the whole day, you know. I can eat 3 of them, 2 of them, it's okay, you know. But basically what I wanted to say is that it gets harder in terms of energy levels because you're always like a little bit tired, more tired than the usual. I also want to talk about mood swings, like you get a bit more anxious, more stressed than the usual. So it's all about, you know, as I said in the first or second episode, it's all about like what you're thinking here. That's why I say you should be prepared for the calorie deficit, because it has so many obstacles in the journey, and you just have to be aware of that, you know. Like, I don't want you to wake up one day and be super sad. You should know that it's one of the side effects of a calorie deficit to wake up, to be sad, to get some mood swings. I just want you to be prepared for that, so that when it happens, you're not like not understanding what's happening. Okay, so I invented this exercise. Usually you see people doing a small curve because you want to do spinal flexion. You want to do a crunch, right? But for me, I keep my back straight because I want to work on my core stability on the deepest core muscles. That's why I use it for that, because I honestly prefer cable crunches. I can load so much more on them. That's why I prefer using this one as a finisher for my whole core. Okay, even if this week was really hard mentally and in terms of energy levels, I really appreciated every second of it. I was basically in love with myself every day, more and more, because I started seeing more and more definition. And at the end of the week, I was already super happy with my physique. But I'm not gonna stop here. I think I'm gonna add maybe 2 or 3 weeks max, because I want to see much more than just the ab line. I really want to see my six pack. For cardio, I don't really like doing things that are too complicated. Even if you hear this fat loss zone, at the end of the day, it's always gonna be calories in, calories out. My best advice is not to choose the most effective one. Find the most sustainable one for you, even if it means just walking.